Good morning and welcome to my channel. I'm Julianne, but more commonly known as Financially Free with Jules on Instagram and on YouTube. Today we're going to go over my projected budget for October, where I'm going to break it down by what I currently make, by percentages, and those percentages into dollars into each of my categories and what I suspect that I will spend. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I originally started with this document. You can easily find it on Dave Ramsey's website. It is called the recommended percentages. So based on Dave Ramsey's recommended percentages, housing should be between 25 and 35%, savings between 10 and 15%, charitable gifts between 10 and 15%, utilities between 5 and 10%, food between 5 and 15% of your income, transportation between 10 and 15%. This also includes a vehicle. Keep in mind, Dave Ramsey does not recommend having a car payment. He recommends buying a Dave car, which is kind of like a beater car that you can pay cash for. And then once you pay off your debt, you can put more money aside and then buy a nicer car with cash in the future. Clothing, he recommends between 2 and 7%, medical and health 5 to 10%, insurance 10 to 25%, personal 5 to 10%. That's going to be like your personal funds, like fund money basically. Recreation 5 to 10%, and debts 5 to 10%. So I have an overall income of, after taxes, $3,468. My husband and I are dual military, but we are currently stationed apart. So for this video, it's only going to be solely off my income. Once the Army stations us back together, then I will incorporate both of our incomes, but we do upkeep 2 households, one here in Korea and then one in Hawaii. So again, until we're stationed together, I'll just be doing solely my income. It will make it, you'll understand as I go through. So I am currently a second lieutenant in the Army. You can look up any military personnel's income online. It's super easy to find. Actually, any government entity, you can find our income online. So I am not afraid to tell you what my income is. Additionally, because I'm stationed overseas, I get something called COLA, which is to offset the cost of living over here. I also get hazard duty pay because I'm in Korea and it's a hazardous place to work, according to the military. And I also get family separation pay because my husband and I are not stationed together. Additionally, something that we all get in the military, which is going to be BAS, which is like a separate rations, which is supposed to cover our food. And then here, because I'm overseas, I get OHA, which is Overseas Housing Allowance. But when I say I get it, but I don't actually see it because it covers my 1-bedroom apartment that I reside in on post. Additionally, that OHA makes sure that my water, electric, trash, sewer, it's all incorporated into that. So instead of paying part of my income out to housing, the Army just basically gives it to you and then takes it back to cover those costs. The only additional cost for housing that I would have would be internet, which I do not pay for because I do not have internet in my place. That is all incorporated into my phone bill, which we'll get into when I do my personal breakdown. So like I said, my overall income is $3,468 a month. That gets separated into 2 paychecks. So I set aside 5% of my income, which is $174 for tilting, charities, offerings, things of that sorts. I also set aside 10% for groceries and restaurants, which is a total of $325. I'm typically underneath this amount, but as I continue to do these videos, I'll show you exactly what I spend on it. I have nothing to hide and everything to gain from making these videos. So I also have 10% of my income goes to my retirement fund. I have a retirement fund through the Army called TSP, or Thrift Savings Plan, which 5% of my income goes to. which is about $351 a month. That's an auto, like an allotment that automatically goes. So I did not calculate that into my my take-home pay. But I do also pay an additional $400 a month to like mutual funds accounts, and stocks and investments of that sorts, which I've been paying into from when I was in college, so like at the age of 18. And that's something that I don't really think about anymore because I've never calculated. I can't spend money if I've never actually had the money, if that makes sense. Clothing, I allocate 5% of my overall income for clothing, and in that category I also use that money for like dry cleaning, because sometimes I have to dry clean my uniforms or press my uniforms. So that's $174 a month. Keep in mind, I've been stationed to all warm weather duty stations thus far. In Korea, it gets very cold, I've heard. So I will need to use that money to buy things such as a winter jacket, some boots, some sweaters, things of that sort. Of course, I'm frugal and I truly enjoy thrift shopping. Here, they don't call them thrift shops, they call them vintage stores. So hopefully some of the vintage stores here will have some items that are in my size. Korea sizes are quite different than US sizes. So hopefully I can find some items in my size that are just gently used so that I can stay within my budget for that. Additionally, I've set aside $100 for gas and upkeep for my vehicle. I spend approximately $60 in gas a month, give or take. And then I also, the additional $40 would be for oil changes, or I need a transmission fluid flush coming up. So that reminds me, I should tell you all, I do have a vehicle here in Korea. I paid $1,000 cash for it. She's not a beauty, but she works and she gets me from point A to point B. So there's gonna be some minor upkeep with it. And then of course my insurance, I pay about $15 a month for car insurance for it. But I also have a vehicle back in the States. It's in storage on the Army's dime. That vehicle is my 2018 Toyota CHR. I do still owe on it. The goal is to have that vehicle paid off before I leave Korea. So I have until May 2020. I owe $24,199.35 still on that vehicle. I will talk about that vehicle in a totally different video because there's lots more that go into that. But just know that I pay $567 a month on that vehicle. That is my car payment. And then I also do have to have full coverage on it, even though it's in storage. But again, we'll get into that later. Additionally, I have my phone bill. My phone bill is $60 here in Korea. That includes unlimited data, unlimited text, unlimited local calls, so calls any inside of Korea, and then 300 calls back, 300 minutes back to the States. And then I use apps like WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger and Instagram Messenger to talk to my family as well. And then I also use my phone for a hotspot, which allows me to have internet in my place, hence why I don't pay for internet, because internet here is about $70 a month, which I can't justify when I can use my phone. There's cafes, there's pretty much internet everywhere here in Korea, even on the metros, there's Wi-Fi, which is awesome. So no need for that additional cost, in my opinion. I also pay $11 a month for unlimited Spotify. I really like listening to music. I really like hearing the newest music, and I absolutely love listening to podcasts while I'm at work. So that's one of those non-negotiables for me. I think it's totally worth it. I do have Netflix, but I don't pay for it. Thankfully, I have a friend that has tethered me onto their account. So if I did want to watch movies or some sort of series, I do have access to that. I've also set aside $100 a month for personal upkeep. This includes things such as haircuts, skincare products, makeup. If I wanted to get my nails done, things like that go into that category. I set aside $348, which is 10% of my income, for entertainment and vacations. Dave would probably be rolling his eyes and telling me don't do this because you shouldn't travel when you're in debt. However, I'm only stationed in Korea for 1 year, and I personally think that it would be such a waste to not be able to go out and to explore this beautiful country and some of the other Asian countries that are nearby. So I've set this money aside. I've been very fortunate and very frugal in my aspects to be able to travel, but I've been to Japan twice now. I've been to Jeju. I'm currently in Seoul filming this video, and I've been able to travel all these places and still stay under my vacation entertainment budget. I'll film some other videos if you guys are interested on how to travel on a budget in the future. I also put $100 aside for things like toiletries. And supplements. So health-wise, I can't digest red meat or pork, so I have to get iron in and B complex and protein in different ways. So sometimes I purchase supplements in order to help me with that. Additionally, you know, your toilet paper, paper towels, things like that, upkeep. But I'll get into a different video in regards to that. But I do have $100 set aside for that. I do not always use that $100, and whatever is left over definitely goes to my debt. So there is that. And then additionally, I've put $200 aside every month for gifts, birthdays, going aways here in Korea, and just in the military in general. There's a lot of hail and farewells, which are just basically welcoming parties for new incoming personnel, and then farewells are going away parties. So as a leader in my organization, it's kind of expected of me to attend those and to donate monetarily to those events. So I have set that aside. Additionally, of course, my husband's birthday and Christmas and things like that do come up. So I want to make sure I have those funds set aside and I'm not scrambling or going into farther debt. So as I said, my overall budget is $3,468. All the expenses I just mentioned total up to $2,588. I have the extra $880 monthly, not including anything that I might be under on, such as my grocery budget or traveling expenses, things like that, to put towards debt every year, or every month. So yearly I can pay off a little over $10,000 worth of debt just solely on my income. Keep in mind, guys, this is just my income. My husband also has a very strict budget, and we do use his income as well to finish paying off our debt. If you'd like to follow more of my journey, please subscribe down below. Also, you can find me on Instagram as Financially Fit with Jules. Again, that's Financially Fit with Jules. I'll link my Instagram below. Any questions about this video or any recommendations or suggestions for what future videos I should film, please drop them below. I'd love to hear from you all. Thank you for watching.